Good morning, Mika and the guys. How are you? I'm making these speeches because I told people that I would do this job as Speaker differently. That was one of the conditions on taking this job, which was I would make this more of a communication speakership to communicate our vision, our ideas, our agenda. That's precisely what I'm doing. And the reason I'm doing this is because we need to convert from being seen as just an opposition party to being a proposition party, a solutions party.
Right.
That's why we're putting this agenda together, so that in the fall, in 2016, the people of this nation will have a very clear choice to make. And this is what we think we owe people. If you don't like the direction we're going, we should say, here's how we should do it differently.
So, Paul, let's talk about Trump last night. Obviously won over 50% in a lot of places. And he has a message that goes against a lot of Republican orthodoxy on trade, on taxes, on immigration. But could you explain? I mean, you've had to deal with strange people like me and Matt Salmon and others.
It was good practice.
And others for years. It's good practice. But no, there's always been this populist strain. I mean, I've known you since you were 23, 24. There's always been this populist strain in the Republican Party. And guys like me carried it back in 95. But we always figured out a way to work together. Can you, and I'm not being a cheerleader here, but can you explain how Trump's positions aren't so shocking and why you can work together with him?
I think we can work together, by the way, Joe. And I've, no matter who our nominee is going to be, I think we're going to be able to work together quite well. The agenda, which is, I'll just give you real quick, economic growth, patient-centered health care, moving people from welfare to work and fighting poverty, fixing our national security, and restoring the Constitution and self-government, making government more accountable. These unify all Republicans, these unify all conservatives, and I believe are appealing to discerning Democrats and independents. And so whoever our nominee is going to be, I believe, is going to be comfortable with those things. And by the way, I've spoken to Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, and they're all very understanding, familiar with, and comfortable with where we're going, which we decided last year, before this presidential thing got started, this is what we were going to do. It's one of the things, it's one of the reasons why I took the job as Speaker. This is where we're going. This is what we're going to communicate. It's going to be an agenda. We're going to give people a choice. It takes, and the key with populism, Joe, as you well know, because you practice this, how do you take this populism and connect it to principle so that it's populism tethered to good principles, which give us good solutions, not unprincipled populism. And that, to me, is our value add to this equation.
So are you concerned, because we've heard whispers out of the House and out of the Senate, that people are concerned with Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, that will actually threaten the Republican majority in the House and the Senate? Just speak for on the House side. Do you think Donald Trump at the top of the ticket would threaten the Republican majority?
Look, I don't think conventionalism works this year anymore. Look, the one thing we can predict is it's all unpredictable. And the way I look at elections is you always act as if everything's in doubt, in danger. Never rest on your laurels. Never feel complacent or comfortable. The day you do that is the day you probably should lose. And so that is why I really do believe whoever our nominee is going to be, we are capable of unifying, provided a unifying front to the country, and I think that's going to be good for the House, good for the Senate, good for the state legislatures, and good for winning the White House. So, Joe, I think we can unify, and that's what I intend on helping do after we come out of Cleveland, whoever our nominee is going to be.
Mike.
Mr. Speaker, you said you spoke to Donald Trump, to all the candidates, but it appears that Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee of your party. You're going to be putting a platform together for the convention in Cleveland. Do you sense any difficulty or any dissent on two specific issues in dealing with Donald Trump, whose views might be a little askew from mainline Republican thinking as it is today, on health care, on replacing Obamacare with a specific replacement policy that's set out and articulated by the candidate, and on tax reform? Those two things. Do you sense any elements of disagreement?
I actually don't. I'm familiar with his tax reform plan, which is lower rates across the board for everybody and all businesses for faster economic growth. We will have a good debate about how to do that, but if from what I recall from his plan, it's basically that. On health care, he knows we need to repeal and replace Obamacare. So, look, I don't see a big problem here. This is Barnacle talking, right?
Yeah, Barnacle.
Yeah, so, Mike, I don't see a big issue with that. And again, Mike, we're a big tent party. We have lots of different views, but we come from the same principles. And the principle for tax reform is get the cronyism out of the code, give people more power, lower rates, make us more competitive for faster growth. And on health care, Put the patient in charge. Let she and her doctor be in charge of deciding their health care. Give people more choices, more insurance competition. And I believe these principles, when applied to this problem, offer better solutions. And I think, again, whoever one of these three become our nominee,